Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Classics with Courtney. I'm truly sorry for not being able to review the fourth Gene Tierney movie. I have my Ghost and Mrs. Muir movie review up. Unfortunately, it is still being reviewed for copyright. So because it is still in dispute, I didn't want to risk uploading another video that could or could not be under copyright. So I ended up not doing a fourth movie review for the month of February. I also ended up having a lot of stuff going on with some personal stuff, so I had not been able to find the time to review the fourth movie. So I sincerely apologize for not ending Gene Tierney month properly. However, we are going to do this month correctly. This month is going to be the Alfred Hitchcock month, and I am looking forward to tackling some movies for this month. And I obviously have worked on a couple things, so here we are going to be talking about Young and Innocent. Came out in 1937 and starring Nova Pilbeam and Derek D. Moray. Scratch that, it's not Moray, it's Marnie. Sorry. Our story begins with two people having a very heated fight.
You're a liar. A liar. You lied when you married me, and you lied to get rid of me. You're a liar and a cheat.
That's enough of that. Get out of here.
That's a nice thing for a wife to say.
I'm nothing of the sort.
Oh, yes, you are, and you're not going to get rid of me with your silly Reno divorce. You're my wife.
Well, what about it?
And I'm not going to have any boys hanging round.
What do you mean?
Oh, you can't fool me. I've watched him. I followed him down here. Saw him come in.
Don't be a fool. That boy's
A liar. Liar.
Why won't you listen?
Because I'm not an idiot. Yes, you.
Go on. Say it. Say it.
Oh yeah, because that blink wasn't totally not suspicious at all. So the woman named Christine is found dead, and our hero, Robert, goes to find help. Unfortunately, things end up turning for the worst for our young hero.
That piece of cliff. We saw this young man running away.
It's absurd. I was running to get help.
You weren't. You were running away, wasn't he, Alice?
That's right.
Oh, nonsense. The girl's hysterical.
I'm not. I'm never hysterical. You were running away. You know you were.
But it's fantastic. I saw the body from the top of the cliff, so naturally came down. I couldn't be sure she was either dead or only unconscious. You see, I didn't see the belt. So I ran off to get help so that I could apply artificial respiration. I was only there a few minutes.
This woman has only been dead a few minutes.
This is absolutely fantastic. Honestly, this is probably the weakest portion of the film. The setup is very odd, and what exactly is the sense of Robert running away from the scene of the crime if he was responsible and then just coming right back? That would basically set him up as the actual killer, which we clearly know he didn't do. So why on earth would he run away and then return to the scene of the crime? Does he think the cops are not going to figure it out? Robert is investigated by the police, and after a fainting spell, he meets our heroine, Erica, played by Nova Pilbeam.
You seem to be pretty good at this sort of thing.
Yes, I learned something by being a go guide.
Did you learn that slapping trick in the guides, too?
No, I learned that from riding in cars with detectives. I must go and find Father. He seems to like the brandy. He'll probably go again. Next time, throw a bucket of water over him.
Not only do I like Nova Pilbeam as an actress, but I really love her character in this movie. She is young, but she is not naive. She is strong in her own way. She's feisty. She is a really great character, in my opinion, especially for an early Hitchcock film. Robert is taken to court where they try to arraign him, but Robert makes his daring escape.
Sergeant, take this car and make for Elston Station. There's a train leaving in a quarter of an hour. Make sure he's not on it.
Yes, sir.
And see that every station up the line is warned.
Right, sir.
Will you drive it?
Drive everything, sir.
Oh, but Papa...
All right, Erica, the sergeant will do it.
Yes, but the thing to do is to put the...
It's all right, miss. You leave it to us.
Yes, but don't you see, you've got to put
Sometimes
that...
these get a bit cold. What's the string doing?
Oh, that's the toe. That's so good. You can't stop without that. Oh, we'll never catch him this way. You two go on your own.
What about you, miss?
Oh, I'll be all right. I'll find some petrol somewhere.
After Erica is left alone to deal with her car, she finds that she isn't quite alone.
You must be mad. Don't you remember who I am?
Yes, you're only the chief constable's daughter. And my ministering angel.
I don't see that so very funny. I shall have to tell the police at once.
Well, there's one thing you should do.
What?
Thank me for pushing the car.
Thank you.
So you should, especially as I'm doing all the work.
Erica drops off Robert at an abandoned mill, but after some time, she decides to go back and bring him some food.
I wonder what you'll buy with his last 3 shillings.
Food, of course.
I know that. I meant what kind of food?
Sausages.
The best thing will be chocolate. It has very good staying power.
Suppose you didn't dare go into a shop to get food.
Then I'm afraid he'll be very hungry.
And that, of course, may force him to come back.
Unless he faints of hunger and dies in the field.
With rooks pecking at his eyes.
Let me know, won't you, if anything turns up? Yes. Go back.
Have they caught him yet?
No, not yet.
You don't think much of our police force?
They want some young blood, don't they, Father?
Oh, you young blood.
If they don't find him, will he get the sack, Father?
I shouldn't get all surprised. I don't think he's got much chance, though. The inspector tells me that he only had a cup of tea
for
last
me. I
night.
shan't be a minute.
All the roads are encircled. Can't last long.
Jolly exciting, isn't it?
You really do think I'm innocent?
Not at all. I came back to pay my debt for the petrol.
Hello, what's that? Food?
I really don't know.
No table. Trust a wicked murderer like me with a knife, eh?
It isn't that at all. I just forgot it.
There you are. You see, you don't believe I'm a murderer.
After escaping the police, they drop by a little tavern called Tom's Hat, where Robert is hoping to find his raincoat and clear his name. Erica goes in to help him investigate while he waits outside.
You don't happen to know, do you, if a raincoat was found here last week?
If it was, it'll never reach the Lost Property Office. Let me see now. A coat. Well, as a matter of fact, there was one old fella. More or less of a tramp, really. He mends broken No, I'm wrong, miss. You'll never find that coat.
No, you're right, Bill. It was old Will the China mender. Don't remember? He had a raincoat that was nearly new. Said a bloke had given it to him. We chipped him about it. Trying to kid us that people give brand new coats away.
Go on, get him.
I didn't want you to get hurt. What was all the fuss about?
Your coat. You're quite right. It was stolen. An old tramp's got it, but his 2 friends wouldn't let him tell me.
After leaving the tavern, they stop at Erica's aunt's home, where she becomes quite suspicious of the 2 young couple.
Not exactly quite near.
Such a large family. I never remember how many there are. I suppose you find that rather difficult.
Yes, I'm not too sure myself.
Erica, I'm so sorry. I didn't quite catch your friend's name.
Beechcroft Manningtree.
Oh, really?
Yes, extraordinary name, isn't it?
I don't think I've ever come across it before. What does he do for a living?
A sort of clerk, I believe.
Oh, in what?
Advertising. He makes up advertisements.
What a very uncommon name. What did you say it was? Your work must be very interesting.
My work?
Yes, Erica's just been talking to me about it.
Oh, yes, of course.
Do you like it? So many young men of today dislike their work.
Oh, I love it. I find it very satisfying.
It must be awfully difficult to strike the right note.
At first, perhaps. Oh, of course, you need a good ear.
Yeah? I should have thought an eye would be much more important.
Yes, that's important, certainly. But I can read at sight now.
Beg your pardon?
I mean, I can sing a piece of music if it's put in front of me.
Sing?
And play, of course.
Oh, yes, of course.
They asked me to say goodbye.
You idiot. Didn't you realize there was something going on between them? She didn't know his name. He didn't know it himself even, really.
Oh, you're exaggerating.
Nothing of the sort. I wanted to find out more about them. If you hadn't made me play blind man's buff.
After dodging the party, both Robert and Erica go on the run to find Old Will and retrieve the raincoat.
It's all right, my dear. We're perfectly safe here. We'll hide here for a bit. The whole thing will be over in a couple of hours or so. We can shake hands and you'll never see me again.
Won't I?
Well, you needn't ever see me again. Put your collar on.
It's all right, Red.
Now, you do as I tell you.
I know I'm being silly, but I'm so terribly tired.
Perhaps you better get along home.
No. I'm going to sit out now.
For marvelous.
Will I be all right here? I don't want anything to happen to me.
You'll be perfectly safe, I promise you.
I don't want anything to happen to you either.
Blinking well was. I've chased you for nearly 50 miles. 50 miles? What for? Do you know anything about a raincoat?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've got to get along.
You do know something about it. But I'm not interested in you. I only want the coat.
Go on, Will. Bash his mug in. You get something you don't expect in a minute.
You got a coat from Tom's hat, didn't you? Well, it's mine. Only want it for evidence. You can have it back afterward.
Coming along and saying you're my pal. Dragging me about like this, I feel like a shy bride.
I'm terribly glad.
It's mine, all right. There's no belt. And what have you done with the belt? What have you done with that belt?
Belt?
Well, here's where it was fixed. What's happened to it?
There wasn't no belt only when the bloke gave it me.
And it was my belt. Who'd you say gave you the coat?
I told you, some fella.
Well, can't you remember what he looked like?
Yes, he blinked.
What do you mean, blinked?
How do you mean?
Like a...
Hang on, I'm coming.
This is definitely one of Hitchcock's best suspenseful moments in his entire filmography, in my opinion. Even for his early films, this is definitely one of his best, and in my opinion, it's at least in my top 10, for sure. After Erica is brought home, Robert comes to say goodbye as he prepares to give himself up.
I'd like to know why you take all this interest in Tisdale.
Because he's innocent. He couldn't kill anything. He's much too kind and gentle. Why, he's the finest person...
I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, gentlemen.
Your father would like to see you when you finish, Miss Erica.
That might help us to find this fellow.
No, Father, there's nothing.
I see. You still persist in shielding a man wanted for murder.
He's not a murderer.
You know as well as I do that you're committing a criminal offense. And I'm responsible.
Must you do this, Father?
You'd better go to your room. Stay there for the time being.
Has Old Will found him?
I'm going to give myself up. That's why I came back. I wanted to tell them that I forced you into it. To say goodbye.
I did it because I wanted to.
It's no use. The coat and no belt was the end of everything. Suppose I found it in the car.
Yes, they brought it in while I was being questioned.
No belt in the pocket by any chance?
No, nothing but a box of matches from the Grand Hotel.
Elika! Those matches. Did you say Grand Hotel?
Yes, why?
I've never been there in my life.
Then whoever killed...
Has been, or still is, at the Grand Hotel.
Our three comrades then goes to the Grand Hotel in hopes to find the real murderer.
Too many people.
You must find him.
I can't ask more if they twitches come out. Now we've bitten off more than we can chew here, Ducky.
He must be here somewhere. What sort of twitch is it? Just with one eye?
No, both eyes.
Stand back, please, ladies and gentlemen, please. Stand back, it is out.
Oh, can't we help?
Your last efforts at first aid weren't much of a success, were they?
Can't you be human for once? Will! Will! Look, Will, his eyes! You gave an old tramp a raincoat, didn't you? What did you do with the belt that belonged to it?
What did I do with the belt? I twisted it round her neck and choked the life out of her.
Found him. It's all right. It's all right. Father, don't you think we ought to ask Mr. Tisdale to dinner?
And that wraps up my review of Young and Innocent, a very charming, sweet, simple little film with loads of fun. Is it one of Hitchcock's best? Well, considering all his major roles that has since garnered a huge name when maybe during his time wasn't that big, like Vertigo and Psycho, and even some of his bigger British films like The 39 Steps and The Lady Vanishes, no, it's not. But, in my opinion, it is an overlooked film. I really enjoy it, and I think there is a lot to be enjoyed, especially from Hitchcock's early filmography. The best part about this movie is this is, I believe, the first ever movie that Hitch ever did, and I believe it was also the last, where we focused on two young people. Most of the characters, if not all the characters from Hitchcock's movies, are all grown adults. But this one particularly focuses on a young girl, 17, and a young man, who we should assume is probably around the same age, but in real life he was actually 31. But she was legit 17. So she was young. He, not so much. But he looked young for the role, so it still worked in my opinion. But that's the beauty of this movie, in my opinion, as well, is that because they are so young, it's literally the first ever we're seeing this. I think the closest we got to another youngster in the film that kind of has a big role was in number 17. But that didn't focus on a young couple. So you could literally link that to the original 39 Steps, who Nova Pilbeam also starred in. So, yeah, this is basically the only movie that Hitch did where it focused on a young couple, and that makes the film unique. Unfortunately, this movie is not without its controversy, and we're going to tackle that in a split second, because I don't want to focus in on this. Yes, the band that plays at the end of the film is in blackface. Is it pleasant? Absolutely not. Is it part of our history? Yes, it is. Should we ban this movie and many others like it because of that reason? No. because it is part of history. You can't remove history. It's there. And to me, looking at movies like this or anything is just for us. We can look at the past and go, let's not make that same mistake. And I think that's why movies like this are important, because you can look at movies like this. You can even better it. This movie could get remade later on down the road and you can totally forget that moment. You can just forgo that whole scene, change it up a little bit, and that way you're still keeping to the spirit without having the offensive blackface involved. So, yeah, like I said, that is a big problem with this movie, but it's not focused on. So, and again, that's not a justification. There's no justification for having that in your movie. However, despite that, I still love the movie. It's a lot of fun. I love the characters. And again, we see a lot of Hitchcock in throughout the movie. The camera angles, the way the suspense is built up, and the strong female character, because we all know his women were very strong in one way, shape, or form. Except for the physicality. They really weren't strong in that aspect, but I digress. Anyway, but yeah, that basically wraps up my review of Young and Innocent. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have seen this movie and what do you guys think of it. And I will definitely see you guys in my next video for next week. Bye! Have a great and wonderful day.